All right, guys, we got a lot to unpack from that one. A lot of meaningful stuff happened out there tonight. A lot of good stuff, some bad stuff. And I usually like to make my videos so I go over all the positives first and then the negatives at the end. But it's going to be hard to do that in this game because, with a few exceptions, everybody had some negatives mixed in with their positives, you had positives, but sandwiched in between the positives, you did have a handful of negatives. So I'll try to get through this the best I can. But with a few exceptions, everybody was mostly good with a little bit of bad, which you'll certainly take. That will win you most games, but it'll also make games close at the end, like we did tonight. So Seahawks win 37-30. That's the most important thing, right? We beat a good team tonight. I know they were not as good as they could have been if they had Thielen and if they didn't lose Diggs in the third quarter. I'm sorry, not Diggs, Cook. In the third quarter, they would have been better, but that's still a good Vikings team that we beat today. It is meaningful. It is important. And basically, the main reasons why, the studs of this game for me, the guys who were just good, who just unequivocally showed their ass tonight, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and that offensive line. That's first and foremost. I did not think we were going to run the ball in the Vikings. I said it in my pregame video. I thought that Vikings front was going to take our running game out of the picture, just like they did to the Cowboys, just like they did to the Broncos, just like they did to almost everybody they played. Teams are averaging less than 100 rushing yards a game against the Vikings. And I thought that our offensive line had deteriorated from last year. I mean, there's plenty of evidence out there supporting that, right? Fluker's not as good. Upati, he's hit or miss. Joey Hunt is a big step down in run blocking from Justin Britt. Even Dwayne Brown hasn't been as good as he was last year. So I was like, I don't know if we can run the ball on this team. We're not the team that we were last year where we just ran all over everybody. And Chris Carson shoot him up, 100 yards for him. Penny shoot him up, 74 yards on 5 yards a pop. And this offensive line ruled the day, just dominated in run blocking. And I thought was pretty good on the whole, but especially in run blocking, it was just dominant. And I did not see this. I did not see this coming at all. So huge ovation to those guys. Standing ovation to Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and the offensive line. Because we rode them, and I did not expect us to do that, and it worked out because those guys played phenomenal games. Combining for 3 touchdowns. Penny had 100 yards as well if you count the reception yards. So I give it up to them. Travis Homer converted a fake punt for a 30-yard gain and a first down. And, by the way, I understand 29 of our rushing yards came in special teams on the fake punt. So if you want to take that out and say we only ran for 189 yards, that's fine, but that's still excellent and way above what I expected. But Travis Homer converted that play, and he recovered a fumble on the kickoff with 20 seconds left. So, Travis Homer, you're the man tonight. I give it up to Jacob Hollister. He had another really good game. Just converted a series of short receptions, 6 catches tonight. Very solid. I give it up to Josh Gordon. He had 1 target on 3rd down, and he converted it. What else can he ask for, right? I give a lot of props to Ziggy Ansah. I thought he played a good game. I give it up to Clowney and Reed. I thought they were good. And Jason Myers, who made all of his kicks. Very little drama. So those guys, they really brought their A game tonight. And those are the guys I want to single out as being studs. Because everybody else, a lot of them played good. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of them played good. Wilson played good. I don't know if he was MVP good, but he was good. And the thing to understand is something was wrong with Tyler Lockett. He is not himself right now. And I'm starting to freak out about that, by the way. I'll get to that later. But Tyler Lockett's not himself. So Wilson is down his best receiver and made it work tonight. Threw some stuff to Metcalf. Made a big play to David Moore. Underneath stuff to Hollister. We've got a couple screenplays going. We just found a way to make plays, not big plays, not a huge game, but an efficient, effective 240 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. So Wilson was good. The interception was a fluke mostly. I'm not gonna freak out about that. I'm not down on that. I It sucks that he tried to bat the ball when he should have just let the ball hit the ground. He should not have tried to volleyball it up in the air. Or I don't. Well, I guess he wasn't trying to do that, but it's really unfortunate that he did that, and it just so happened to work out that way. But I'm not going to sit here and act like that was a horrible throw or decision on his part. I am down on the sack he took in the fourth quarter, a huge sack where he ran backwards and basically made a third and long situation out of a second and short situation, which is completely unacceptable. And that's the kind of shit Wilson was doing 2 years ago that Schottenheimer was trying to take out of his game. And we really haven't seen him do it that much lately, so it was kind of a shock to see him do that in a high leverage situation. But I did not like that at all. That was horrible. Not a fan of him throwing a couple of hospital balls, which are basically just throwing it down the seam and putting your receiver in a terrible situation where he's going to get smacked by a safety. Both Tyler Lockett and David Moore almost got their heads taken off on a couple of hospital balls down the middle. And, you can even throw maybe he had a chance to hit Chris Carson for a huge play on third and short and just couldn't quite get the ball to him. He was kind of running for his life. I'm not hung up on that. But good game from Wilson. I don't know if he's MVP. I don't know if that was an MVP caliber game, but he played good. I want to be nothing but complimentary to Metcalf because he was our leading receiver tonight. He made a couple nice plays on third down. He made a couple good first down conversions. He set up our first score with a big play down to the 1 yard line. DK had a good game, but then you have the fumble that game is not very dramatic at the end, in my opinion, if DK can hold on to that ball, because we are probably getting at least a field goal out of that drive. And that's going to suck the drama out of the end of this game. It's just going to make us feel so much better if we can just drive down, kick a field goal instead of giving the Vikings the ball on the 28th. So I want to love DK, but 3 lost fumbles when you are not even the leading receiver on your team is highly unacceptable. So there's a lot of good stuff with DK. I think he played fine. I don't think he played bad, but he's got to clean up the fumble. I mean, 7 targets, 6 receptions for DK is awesome. I love that. That is an incredible ratio for a guy like DK, but the fumble takes away a lot of that goodwill, man. Clean it up. I want to be complimentary to David Moore because he made a big play today, finally, at the 60-yarder where he took the top off the defense, but then I see that one possession in the third quarter where we target more on second down and third down. And look, the second down throw was, probably just a bad throw, but the third down throw, he has a chance to go make a big play, and I don't know what to say about it other than it's like, do you need like LASIK or something? You got to get your hands out there. You got to catch that ball. So, David Moore, you got some sweet, you got some sour. The defense, I want to be nothing but complimentary to Trey Flowers because he made a great pick tonight. He made a great interception. Not an easy pick to make, but then a little later, he commits the only Seahawks penalty of this game, a 30-yard pass interference on 3rd and 10. And all he had to do was turn around, and things would have been fine. If he turns around, makes a play on the ball, it's 4th down. Vikings probably going for it. We can end the game right there. Instead, we give the Vikings 30 yards. They score a quick touchdown, and we're sweating the end of this game, which it's just, you got to turn around. You can't just run into the receiver like that. I want to be complimentary to, guys like KJ Wright, but then I see he misses a tackle. He's not really in position to make a play on one of those screen passes to Cook or Madison or whoever it was. And you can see his age on some plays, but then you see some great stuff from KJ on a few other plays. So, I see the good, I see the bad. Bradley McDougald started this game incredibly well. He made a couple big tackles, recovered a fumble that Rasheem Green forced. And Rasheem Green played a nice game, by the way. I should put him in the area of players who I thought were consistently good this whole game. But then he blows a coverage on Laquan Treadwell that allows the Vikings to get back in this game, just completely blows his coverage. And then I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to put that 17-yard completion to Kyle Rudolph on him completely, but it seemed like he had a chance to make a play on that ball and just didn't. It was hanging up there forever. So, Bradley McDougald, I thought, played a really good game, but then you have those little things at the end that just kind of annoy you, and you wish clean those things up, and we're not in this position at the end of this game because, I could go on and on with probably a couple other players. Stephon Diggs missed a tackle on the first drive of the game, but then he came back and made some great plays later. You could probably say guys like, even Bobby Wagner. No real splash plays, but I saw him make some nice tackles as this game went on. There are definitely more guys you could point out as guys who mostly did their job and then just messed up a couple times. But at the end of the day, there are two things from this game that really concern me because Bradley McDougald usually doesn't blow coverages. Russell Wilson usually doesn't throw those hospital balls. DK Metcalf, I mean, he's starting to become a bit of a fumbler, but he's a rookie. I understand he's going to work on that and get better at it, but I am terrified about what's going on with Tyler Lockett. He does not have his burst. He does not have the ability to get open like he usually does. And he is basically anonymous out there right now. We need to cross everything we got. We need to pray that he can get back to where we need him to be by the end of this season because he is irreplaceable. And if we do not have Tyler Lockett going at 100% by the playoffs or close to 100%, that takes away a huge amount of what we do. And I am just crossing my fingers that this is something that's going to go away over the next few weeks because this offense can get by, but I don't believe we can thrive without Tyler Lockett doing Tyler Lockett things. And the number two thing from this game that I'm really going to take away from it in the negatives, because again, a lot of positives tonight. A lot of positives. I thought we got pressure on the quarterback. Even though we got no sacks, I thought we got good pressure on Cousins. The run defense was good. Clowney looked mostly fine. Anza looked like he might actually be in shape now. But Pete Carroll, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not saying he had a terrible game out there tonight. In fact, I want to say that Pete Carroll is probably part of the reason why we stuck to the run tonight. Going into this game, I would have said we need to abandon the run quickly because it's going to be beating our head into a brick wall. We did not do that, and it worked. So I want to give Pete Carroll some credit there. But at the same time, he needs to coach the team that we have, not the team that he wants to have. Because right at the start of the game, we get a 4th and half a yard around midfield, and we punt. 2 plays later, maybe, the Vikings are past the point on the field that they would have gotten it if he had just gone for it and not gotten it. Because the Vikings offense is good and our defense is bad. I know they made some plays tonight. I know there was a stretch of, I know they had a good third quarter tonight, but our defense is bad. And Pete Carroll seems like he's the last guy to figure this out. Okay? I know our pass rush is getting better as the weeks go on, but it's still not a great pass rush. Our tackling is not great. Our secondary is pretty good, but it does have some holes in it. We get fooled on those screen passes a lot, especially tonight. The screen pass defense was terrible. You know what's on this team that's good? Wilson, not really Lockett right now, but generally speaking, Lockett, Hollister, Metcalf, Carson, and Penny. Those are the things on this team that are consistently good from week to week, generally speaking. So when you have 4th and half a yard at midfield early in the game and you have the opportunity to go, take a possession away from the Vikings and get one for yourself when you know your defense is highly limited, I need you to take that spot. That's a different game if we convert 4th down there. And punting, look, I understand that you can't play everything out, all things being equal. I understand that it's not that simple, but it doesn't do you a lot of good when your defense, I don't know what else to tell you other than it's not a very good defense we have right now. I don't think it's a terrible defense. It's a defense that can get better, but I don't think it's a very good defense. And I need Pete Carroll to realize that and coach to keep them off the field. You don't coach to put them on the field with good field position, because what does the field position matter if your defense is no good? I mean, we came very close tonight to blowing a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter against a team with no Cook and no Thielen. The defense is just bad. They make plays. They do some good stuff. They are not terrible, but this is not a good defense by any stretch of the imaginations. So that's frustrating because I don't think that's going to get any better. Pete Carroll's going to look at this and say, hey, we won, so I made the right decision. And we all know where that thinking can get you. But keep your offense on the field. Put them in position to win the game. Don't put it in the hands of your defense. We got lucky tonight that we were able to get that final stop at the end on fourth down after we gave up 2 fourth quarter touchdowns because the defense is just not that good. I'm sorry. I know Pete hates it, but this offense is what is going to win us games. All right. This video has been long, but there was a lot to uncover, a lot to think about. Really worried about the Lockett thing. Really happy that our run defense our run attack rather just imposed their will on the Vikings. But we need to start making positive EV decisions on fourth downs. Like the fake punt, I kind of liked it. I kind of like the fake punt stuff. That gave me some optimism, but we need to start making the right decisions on fourth down. It's that simple. We could get away with it before because we had a great defense. This defense is the furthest thing from great. This close to blowing a 17-point lead at home against the Vikings with no running back and no best receiver. Think about that. All right, 10-2, number 1 in the division. It feels good. I'm going to go live tonight in a little bit, I think, but if I do, it won't be for very long, so keep an eye out for that maybe. See you guys later. Go Hawks. And 10-2. Can't be too upset about it.